because recruiting is required in anything that you all are going to do moving forward. I don't care what you're doing. You have to be able to recruit, right? Want to make one of the top hospitals? Cool. Better be a recruiter. Find the best and brightest talent. Want to go work in academia? Cool. Want to build the best department? Get the best grad students? You got to be able to recruit it, right? So that recruiting is really, really, really important. Sales is important too. We're going to go into the future, but there are some things where your sales skills, aren't quite as in the business world. There's some areas of the business world that your sales are important, but maybe not as important as being able to go in and sit down and really recruit with someone. So that's one thing I wanted to share with this group today, that since this is the first one of these prep meetings, that's something or second technically, that's something that I really want this group to focus on, is learning how to be phenomenal recruiters. Right? And I was talking with Kyle about this second, like when you go into that interview room, are you figuring out exactly who this person is, giving them like a little quick mini profile and figuring out, okay, I need to be able to hit this person on this, and this level, and if I do, they're going to come join this team. Right? The majority of y'all don't know that yet, and that's a really powerful thing that you can gain. And that's something that all of your managers are very good at, and she's literally the best at in the history of the company. So that's one thing I just wanted to share, and that doesn't really necessarily have to do with this message, but I wanted to mention that to you all since we had everyone here. Now, let's look at this document in front of us, though. When it does come, once we actually get the reps, right? Get the reps on your team. You went out and you recruited and you found some people at a campus table. Your receptionist called them and had great efficiency, and they came in the door. They sat through your interview. They said, heck yeah, this is the team I want to be on. I like what this guy's selling. Then they show up to training, and now the idea is, okay, how do we make them productive? Here's the important thing about productivity I want you all to remember, and this is something I always try to teach to my guys, and I always try to remember personally as well. In the interview, you all are going to make people promises. You all are going to promise them something. You're going to promise that, hey, if you come and do this job, you're going to have this experience. You're going to be able to make this income. You're going to be able to, have that part-time job, that flexible schedule, that scholarship. You make them promises, all right? And it bugs the crap out of me when I see managers who go and make those promises in an interview, get people in a training room, things start going crazy in the office, and they forget to take care of that person and actually get them the results that they promised them that they were going to get. That's why, if anyone's seen a Vector, a disgruntled YouTube video or some crap, that's where that comes from. Because that kid was made a promise in the interview, and then guess what? Didn't get followed up on. Right? So we want to make it really simple and easy. I just want to be like, hey, there's some simple things that if you do with your reps, right? And it doesn't have to be like, okay, I need to get to whatever, have this amazing, be amazing at this relationship or this piece here. No. I'm going to make it super simple. There's just a few things you got to do that if you can provide it to your reps, every rep that you have, and if you can't provide it, can you show an assistant manager how to provide it? And that's another thing I would say too. You're like, okay, I can do that. Okay, it's cool if you can figure these things out, but for those of you guys that are going to go and get to run offices, it's not just do you know how to do this, it's can you teach your assistant managers how to do this as well, because you're the lead person, you're in charge, you have 3, 4, 5 assistant managers that are going to be working for you this summer. They have to be able to make sure these 5 things are in place too, okay? So that's what I want to go through right now. And so these are sales. So once we get the team there, what are some things we can do to keep them selling? So we're going to go through this document is called The Power of 5. We're going to, the idea of the best 5, 5 before, 5 after, 5 crucial events, 5 keys to building a great team, and 5 keys to developing a great rep, okay? This is what we're going to go through. Some of you guys are going to know what some of these things mean. Some of you guys are not going to know what these things mean, so that is why I'm walking through this with you all, okay? You know what? I'll probably explain it efficiently because I'm pretty good at that, and so we'll save questions to the end. But what I like to do, just how I like to work personally, is I like to go through things, and then I want you to write stuff as we go, and then we'll cover stuff at the end if there's any questions, because if I get interrupted, then I can get tangented, and then we're going to be here for like 30 minutes, and I'm going to end up talking about, a dolphin or something. But let's go through this. So first thing that you want to remember with your people when it comes out of training, and in the spring we're going to talk about training, right? Vector 201 is designed to teach you guys how to learn how to train people. But one of the important things, and some of the guys that were with me the other, this looks weird, Kathy. Something's going on. Anyway, the people who were with me in 101, we said that there's a certain number of demos that we need someone to launch with. What was that number? Does someone remember? Cool. We need a minimum of 9, right? We want to shoot for 10 demos launch, but we want to make sure that I personally will not launch a training class unless the training class totals an average of 9 demos per head. All right. If you launch a training class with 9 demos per head, you're going to have great first week. We call it first weekend pop. That means the training class goes out and sells. Actually, it's going to be fine. If you get lower than that number, you're going to be rolling dice. If you get above that number, you can have done if you get the training kind of okay, and you get 9 demos ahead out the door, your training classes are going to sell every time, right? Now then, I don't promote 9. I promote 10. Get to 10. Shoot for 10. Shoot for 10. I'll teach you guys how to do that maybe in the spring. But though, this is part of that. Right? Because we want them to get the more demos booked because some are going to cancel, some are going to reschedule. But this is the big thing that we want to be able to do, and that's promote best 5. Right? Best 5 focus for your first weekend. Can anyone tell me what that means? Go ahead, Jacob.
Just to see your best 5 people first.
Cool. Super simple idea, but if we put it into use, it becomes really powerful. So we want to anything that we want people to remember, we need to repeat over and over again. So we want to say best 5. You know, it's your best 5 first, best 5 people, best 5 customers this weekend, best 5 first, right? And so what this does is that it ensures that even for if it's I don't know if y'all have heard this term before. There's going to be high flyers in the group. Lots of you guys in this room are probably high flyers in your group, right? We have some mid flyers that were probably that are some people that are in training that maybe they don't have some maybe their leads are a little shaky. Maybe there's some other stuff, and then there's some people that we do work with that are a little bit more lower flyers, and probably those are some of the people that that were in your training class that aren't here and maybe weren't on the team after a few weeks, right? But if we promote this the right way, this is a way that we can even have our low, medium, and high flyers all really do well. And that's the objective, because I don't like the idea that we bring on someone to the team that maybe doesn't have this super stacked, whatever. I went to, whatever high school downtown list of parents, someone like, we want to be able to extend that to everyone and say, okay, cool, everyone's going to be able to do well. So here's the power of booking your best 5 first. So when it comes with low flyers, that means they're going to get their first sale or 2. First sale or 2 means a big thing for those people because that's going to give them confidence. The biggest thing you can do for all of your people is making sure they all sell something their first weekend, because if they sell something, they're going to sell something else. That's proven, right? So we want them to sell something, because if they sell something, they're going to sell something else. Mid-flyers, if they get their best 5 their first weekend, they're probably going to get their first set sale or 2 and a couple sales. And here's the thing. They're going to get their first promotion. Someone goes out and gets their first promotion their first weekend with you, I guarantee you they're going to be sticking with you for a while. And you'll have time to do the rest of this program, right? But if you don't set them up right their first weekend, they'll go out and fail, and they're going to be like, I'll come to see you on Monday or Tuesday and be like, hey, Cody, we got to talk. I really, really appreciate the opportunity, but I just don't think I just don't think the job's for me, all right? It wasn't them. On day 3, day 4 of the job, it had nothing to do with them. It was you, okay? So we need to make sure that's in place. High flyers, then, if we do that with their high flyers, get their best 5, a high flyer, if we get their best 5 people, they can probably hit at least their second promotion. First, no problem. Second, at least, maybe even get some people close to their third. Right? I know lots of people I have several people in this room that went out, saw some of their best people, and they got close to, over 3K, 4K, 5K, 6K their first weekend. What'd you sell your first weekend, Kyle? 5, almost $6,000 your first weekend. All right, and so we'll go out and have that from our team if we get it. Now, how do you promote this? Simple. You're going to stick best 5 in and repeat it over and over during training. We need assistant managers that going in every time you go into a training room. Be like, dude, if Kathy or if Jordan or if whoever's training, if I ask you, like, oh, what's a tip you could give them for their fast start, right? You should say, dude, make sure you follow the manual, follow the program, but really the big thing for me, I made sure to see my best 5 people first. Right, so that's one way, and also how is another way you can promo it. You tell them because it's true. We want them to sell, but this is another mistake. You don't want to come off as pushy, right? You don't want to come off like, oh dang, they just want me go see my really rich aunt. And they just want to sell. I don't know, because that's cool, but I always make this very clear. My objective on their appointments when they're brand new for their first few days with their mom and grandma isn't to go sell knives to their friends and family. If I wanted to go sell knives to their like friends and family and their grandma, I'd go do that myself because I'm really good at it. My objective is to make sure that they have some great experience, right? One, get some great experience, maybe get their first sale or two to build some confidence, and most importantly, recommendations. Because your best 5 people, their best 5 people are going to know their other best 5 people, right? They're going to be able to get their best recommendations from their best customers. So here's the cool thing: even if we have someone that they're kind of a little bit nervous, maybe they know that they're not from the best neighborhood, right? They know there's another kid in their training class that lives down whatever on whatever street with whatever big house or to whatever private school. They know that their list isn't the same as that person's list. But here's the power: even for that person, that kid in your training class, if you promo this the right way, what happens is you're going to be able to go out there and show them, if they show their best 5 people, guess what? One of those people, 2 of those people is going to be able to give them some really good recommendations. So even though this person might be starting a little bit back, for their first weekend, shit, we're going to give them after the first few days and their first 10 days and their fast start, their list is going to look every bit as good as, Johnny private school kid. Right? And so that's the power of promoting it the right way. And then you also have to be able to make sure you follow up on helping them get recommendations too. But that's the power of your best 5. And if we're focused on that, you're going to have sales reps that are selling, and we're going to be in a lot of promos, having a lot of fun. And then from a management perspective, it makes sense for you to get your kids their first sales because you get the highest percentage from brand new sales, right? Up to the first $1,000 someone sells, you make 25% of that. You want to get them those sales right away, too, from a business side of things. But you never promo it that way. You're not going to be in a training class and like, so I need all you guys to go sell some stuff because that's going to, like, just this weekend right away because that's going to make me the most. No one cares about you, right? And so realize that once you're in this seat training room, you care about them. It's your people. How can we help them? What do they need? And the more of them you can help get what they want, then you're going to get what you want as well, right? So that's an important thing. We're going to move that keep this rolling. And then it goes next best 5, right? So that's one thing that you can still keep this thing rolling because sometimes like, well, I saw my best 5. Now what? Cool. Who's your next best 5? You're going to have reps selling always and forever if you can just keep that focus. Next one, 5 before, 5 after. This is a huge key in their first few days in terms of habits, right? So a couple of you guys, if I had to guess, I'm going to say 3 of you in this room do this, right? Maybe 2. Do 5 phone calls before, 5 phone calls after, right? This is something that when it's done properly, you get a huge result from because the biggest thing is we have to get more demos set. That's the biggest thing that's going to happen day 4 through 10 for them is they're going to go out their first 3 days. Cool. Like some of you guys may have done too. Well, your first few days, like, oh, this is awesome. I got all these demos booked, but you didn't get in to come in and sit down and do another big phone time to book up the rest of the week. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, kind of lackadaisical. Some of you might still be having this problem. You'll go like, I'm doing the phone jam on Sunday. Cool. Or I'm doing the phone jam on Thursday, whatever it is. You get set up for the next 3 dames, and then all of a sudden it's like Saturday, and we're like, okay, how many demos do you have for Saturday? Like, well, I don't really, I got like 1. Right? What do you mean I have anything for the weekend? Well, I've been, no, you just didn't do the phone time. That's it. Like, no big deal. You just didn't do the phone time because the last time you did phone time was on Sunday. Right? And now it's Friday. 5 before, 5 after cures all of that. If you guys don't know what I'm saying, that's 5 phone calls before each demo, 5 phone calls after each demo. Because if you do 5 phone calls before each demo, 5 phone calls after each demo, you're gonna set up one demo per completed. You're gonna set 1 new demo per each demo you complete. Always replacing. That's big. Right? You got to teach your reps, especially your summer reps, this. Some of you guys might be like, oh, that sounds so cool. I want to do it now. Oh, I have. Yeah, okay, cool. We're in the fall. It's different for your schedules. You guys have like 1 sales day right now. But we're talking summertime like we just finished up a month ago. Full-time sales reps, these brand new high schoolers, you need to be on them. And this is an easy way to teach them so that they can do it themselves. Because if you teach this right, can do it ourselves. Right? And that's a really powerful thing when you can, because you want to teach your sales reps so you're not the one that always has to be, hey, did you? It's really cool when, like, Kristen just does her phone time and has all of her demos booked each week, and I just have to be like, hey, Kristen, did you? She's like, yeah, I got them. Cool, done. because she built the habits the right way in the beginning. Really powerful. You want reps like Kristen, so train them that way. Next one, 5 crucial events. 5 crucial events. These are the events that you have to have if you want to retain reps. Advanced training 1. Their first PC, their first team meeting, their first AT2, and their day 11 PC. You nail those 5 events for every rep, they're going to be retained on your team because they're going to learn. Now, what's the big thing at AT1? Right, and this is the thing that I'll promo with my new reps too. Some of y'all may use it, some of you guys may not on PDI, but for our brand new reps, I'm always excited about their firsts. Right, so on a PDI call or even in training, I'll tell them, dude, you're going to go through a lot of first experiences. Right, you're going to get your first demo done. So I'm always super pumped. They just got their first demo done. Awesome job. Right, you're going to get your first sale. That's awesome. You're going to get your first no sale. That's awesome. Right, you're going to get your first sponsor, your recommendation, your first double sponsor, triple sponsor, your first quadruple sponsor. Right? Like, oh my gosh, what's it going to be like to get your first quadruple sponsor and be able to give them a free vegetable peeler, right? Kristen, do you remember you had some trouble, right? Your first weekend with recommendations, your first day or two, cool. And then we found out that we could get them to the 4 recommendation, the quadruple sponsor, cool. And then was it you or Michelle? It was you, right? Yeah, you got how many quadruple sponsors your first weekend? 3? Cool. So we taught her that. For her first, 4 appointments, though, Kristen got, 1 recommendation, 0 recommendations. I forgot recommendations, right? And then I said, Kristen, let's get your first sponsor. She got her first sponsor, on her 4th appointment. And then we said, dude, how cool would it be? Did you know that you could get them a free vegetable peeler if they became your first quadruple sponsor? How cool would it be if you could get your first quadruple sponsor on this next appointment? Kristen goes out, she gets her first quadruple sponsor on that next appointment, her very first weekend. Then she does it 2 more times, racks up 60 recommendations from just those ones, finishes up her very first weekend with close to 100 new names and numbers after her first 4 days on the job. Right? Why? Because we promo it the right way. So that's an important thing, to be about the firsts. Be about the firsts. Be about the firsts. Right? And then it's easy. If you're already doing that on PDI your first weekend, you just roll these things into it. Dude, first advanced training, right? You're going to do your first advanced training. It's so awesome. We have 3 or 4, 8, 10 of these things, right? Wait until you get to advanced training 21. It's my favorite, right? I used to joke with them on PDI, right? We don't have that many advanced trainings. It's okay. But you're going to have your first one, really excited for you. And then when they get there, you just recognize them. Recognize everyone for doing good. Advanced training 1, you're just and we'll talk about this, when it comes time for training, but you're just telling them, hey, wherever you're at, you're perfect. Whether you did great, did medium, did bad, you're perfect. Sold nothing, sold everything, you're perfect, right? You're right where you're supposed to be. Build confidence, right? Teach them how, give them a couple new tricks, create a plan, book some more demos, get them out there. First PC should probably happen on day 4, ideally. Right? I want all new members of my team to be PC'd no later than Wednesday morning. I want it all done by then. Because if you get all your new people, you want it on Monday and Tuesday. I get my entire team PC'd by Wednesday morning. Just figure it out. We got to do it. Right? Because if they get it done in those 3 days, we're going to have a solid plan for the week. Because if you push it back a little bit, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, guess what? Thursday comes, Friday comes, you start training. Training comes along, next thing you know, it's freaking Saturday. We're going to do a Saturday PC to talk about how we're going to really attack the week. There's 2 days left. Right? So you PC at the beginning of the week, Kathy does the PSPs, which I think is awesome. It's not something that we've really got down in this division yet, I know. But regardless, you got to get everyone talked to right away. And that's something that's really powerful. So I always put my newest people first. My 10K PCs, my fast start PCs, I want them happening, Monday and Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday, then Tuesday, Wednesday, get the rest of the team done, and then we're off to the races. Get everyone prepped up for the team meeting and the phone jam on Wednesday, on Thursday, you're good to go. But that's what we need to do. Get into their first PC. Team meeting, first team meeting is important, right? And then making sure they get to their first team meeting is important. If you don't get someone to their first team meeting, and if you let them pull a busy school excuse, I got this, I got that, well, then you're going to have trouble getting into every team meeting for the rest of their career. if they get, save the questions to the end, remember? Right? But thank you for paying attention. I appreciate that engagement. So we have to then get them to that first team meeting. But here's the other kicker too. Got them in the team meeting, and you got to get them to the team meeting 1, and 2, you got to make sure it's a good team meeting. We're going to talk about running good team meetings as part of the curriculum as well. Right? Because if you get someone to the meeting, cool, they're there. But then if you got them to come in for a meeting, they didn't get value at the meeting, you're probably going to maybe get them to 1 more meeting, maybe 2, and then you're done. They're going to have very spotty team meeting attendance if we don't have good events. That's important overall. So what's that? And here's the biggest thing. If you can give them a high five, smile, encourage them, and get them on the phone and book a few more demos, if they can come in, if you go smile, high five, get them 3 to 5 more demos booked, they're going to have felt value for coming in. Right? Maybe teach them a little, oh, let's role play together real quick. You don't have to give everything. They're new. Chill out. Get the manual down. Right? There's so many things they're still getting wrong. There's probably things that some of you all in this room are just getting wrong. Right? That's okay. We're going to figure that out. But you don't need to slam them with anything crazy in their team meetings or their advanced trainings. We keep it simple, keep it fun. Smile, high five, tiny little bit of learning, and get them on the phone. Because if you get them the more demos, we all know that's what matters. AT2 is the other event, because this is going to help them. We do phoning at AT2, teaching them how to get good at the phones. Then what do? Remind them, stick to your list, get more names and numbers, book more demos. And day 11 PC, here's the big one, right? Because it's easy, we utilize the tool of our Fast Start. Fast Start, first 10 days, double what you want to do regularly. Go out, win some cool prizes, hit some cool promotions. How far can you get in your first 10 days? For some competitive people, they're going to get excited to go out and be number 1. For some of the logical people, it's going to make sense because it's like, well, I'm going to do it anyway, so I might as well just do it this week because I get more stuff for just doing the work this week, right? The Fast Start is so perfect. Cool. We drive. I've seen so many offices that are Fast Start offices. Especially new managers. So I don't want you guys to be it. I want you to have these freaking sick teams that are with you all year long. Right? And if you think about it, you probably saw, you're like, yeah, I had like 10 people in my training class. And then after their Fast Start, there was like, I don't know, like 3 at that meeting the next week. All right? That happens sometimes. I'm sure maybe when you guys have seen this, hopefully, I do have some good managers, but that might be something you see as new managers. This is the critical PC you have with them on day 11 after their Fast Start, because this is where you set up the plan, you set up some vision, and you help them realize, hey, this is what we're going to do moving forward. And it's important for your guys that hit their 1 or 2 promos to keep them going consistently, and it's really important too for your guys who sold 6, 10K, 15, 20K plus in their Fast Start, because we need to make sure we have a good meeting with them and they understand too, because they're going to be like, dang, I was just going like 8 demos a day for the last however many days. It's crazy. I hit my 10K, hit my 15K. They're going to be like, dang, I have to keep doing this forever? No. We let them know, like, hey, we readjust things now. But here's the most important thing. We still keep working. We said we want to do double whatever we're doing. You got to be in 40 demos last week in the summer. Cool. So we're going to cut that down. Guess what? All you got to get done this week, 20. Hey, you know what? Since you did so good, I'll be happy if you only get 15 done this week. Now, I know you're a stud and you're probably going to do more than that. You should probably go for 20. But if you just get 15 this week, hey, dude, respect, because you just worked really hard. You frame it up the right way, they're going to keep working right after their Fast Start, even for your high flyers. If you don't do that, you have a kid that sells 10K in their Fast Start, and then I need a break, and then they don't sell crap all. They drop down the next week and sell like $1,000. All right? If they sold 10K in their Fast Start, they should be able to be popping 3K weeks for their entire summer and going after some fun SC1, SC2 pushes. All right. So that is critical. We're going through a lot of information. I understand. I appreciate it. Make sure you're writing stuff down and writing down questions that you want for clarification here in a minute too. But it tells you how to do a day 11 PC. It's on there. We're also going to go through it in the curriculum as well when it comes to going through the day 11 PCs. There are a couple different PCs that we use at different times. That's all part of the curriculum. That's not the purpose of this talk to go in depth, but know that it's one of the critical points. All right. 5 keys to building a great team. This is a great team culture. There's some metrics here that I want you guys to know. Some of you guys are familiar with the numbers in the business. Some of you guys are not. The newsletter. Here's the idea. For every 1 rep you get on the newsletter, you multiply that times 2.5. That's how much you sold for the week. If you want to have a $10,000 week, you need to get, anyone do the math? How many people on the newsletter? 4. If you get 4 people on the newsletter, your office is going to sell $10,000 a week in the week. New business, right? This is the new business we're talking about, remember? It's not like, having your CSPs or FSMs, and you guys won't, so don't worry about that, right? But anyway, newsletter, 2.5 to 1 rule, right? So if we want a 10K week, you got to focus on getting 4 people on the newsletter. If you as a manager only focus on getting 4 people on the newsletter, you're going to sell, bam, 10K. I'm like, but doesn't that only equal 4K? No, well, they're going to have people that are going to sell a little bit more. They're going to go past a K. There's going to be at least 4, 5, 6K coming from them, and the rest of your active team is going to fill in the rest of that, and you're going to hit it. All right? So when you go out, you promo it. Now you have to promo it the right way, or no one cares about what the newsletter is. But if you promo getting on the newsletter and why it's going to be great, and we're going to talk about promotion, that's another talk. That's probably something you should write down too. Figure out how to promo properly. That's huge. Right? But though, if you figure that out, then we're just going to go promo these things, promo your newsletter. Cool. You get 4, right? Guess what? Then you get 8. It's a 20K week. Money. That's fun. 40K week, 16 people on the newsletter. But you have to build it the right way. And that's by building up the newsletter, building up consistency, right? So that's a metric that you need to remember. And the reason I stuck with the 4 is because when you all are brand new, the second you guys open up in May, right, May week 1, your big objective, you're going to work, you need to get those 4 people on the newsletter immediately because that's going to be your first 10K week. Because when you're brand new, we want to get everyone to 10 as soon as possible. If you can be at 10 within your first 3 weeks open, heck yeah. If you can be there sooner, that's even better, right? But if the entire branch and new district class this coming summer was up and running with all 10K plus weeks by the time we got to May week 3, holy crap, right? It's just stupid, right? And that's all new business, so that's very profitable. Right, from the business side of things, but also from the people side of things. Hell, you have people doing that right away. You're going to have a sick team going into that first, division meeting, right? And then from the division meeting, they're going to be all pumped up to go have a sick SC1 push. You just got to keep it simple. Keep it simple for your people, and keep it simple for yourself, probably too. Don't get too freaked out. Just remember these basics. All right, meeting attendance. You need to have 75% of your active team at each meeting. Some people say 90. Kathy, I've heard Kathy give talks about, she's like, if 90% of your team isn't there, you're failing, right? I love that. This comes from Drew and the Rocky Mountain division. And but though, I think that's good. And Kathy's a master of promotion, has amazing offices, like we said. Her goal is we always want to have 90% of the team there. But at bare minimum, even though you guys are going to be new on your own, first time out, 75% of your active team has to be at the events. Meeting attendance. That's your team meeting. That's your division meeting. Right? I always think about it this way. When it comes to division meeting, when it comes to team meeting, especially division and division and conference too, if you don't get someone to the conference, consider that person no longer on your team. Right? Because you have like a less than 20%, maybe 10% chance that person's going to stick around if they don't go to the conference or go to the event. You got to get good at that. That goes back to that, how do I promote properly? Get them to the events. And then you just get them to the events, right? We'll take care of them. Right? The DMs, the Kathy, we can run some events. You guys have been to them. We know how to do it. Well, they're going to come to the event, they're going to be fired the frick up. But you got to get them there. Right? We get that y'all are kind of brand new. You probably can't get up there and run the whole thing and get everyone all jazzed, and that's fine. Your job's to get them there, and we'll take care of it. SLDM is the first one. Man, who went to an SLDM with Kathy? Cool. Who went to the first SLDM with Kathy? That's fun. Look, y'all are here right now. All right, a quarter of the room went to the first meeting. That's awesome. So that's fun. And the rest of you probably started after they stopped doing SLDMs. Anyway, PC every rep every week. PDI every rep every day. Every rep every week gets a PC. For you guys, when you're new, bring them into the office, sit down, have the PC, move on to the next one. You're going to have 80 million things going on. Just get them all done. All right? For those of you guys that want to go be district managers or have really big organizations, cool. There's a point where we'll have PCs wherever, right? I PC people and they don't even know they're getting PC'd, but we just PC'd, right? Like, I thought we were going to just go and now I have a sales plan and goals. I'm like, yeah, right. Right? I don't call James into the office on Tuesday afternoon and be like, James, can you come in and sit down in front of my desk and we're going to... No, not at all. Never, actually, right? That doesn't happen. But they still get PC'd. They all get an hour with me each week. Each week. Each of my CSPs gets an hour with me, and guess what? They ship. All right? It's something random. They don't. It's not scheduled as a PC. We're just going and doing something. All right? But for you guys when you're new, get them in front of you at your desk every rep every week. Cody, I have 40 reps. Cool. Train your assistant managers. You need to have 4. If you're going to have 40 reps on your team that quick, you better have at least 2, 3, if not 4 assistant managers with you. All right? Teams. It's fun. Build it. And then PDI, every rep, every day. That's another thing. Right? I used to have a lot of problem with PDI personally as a manager. I'll tell you a little story about me as a manager. I had trouble with this because I was like, I never PDI. I have trouble with PDI. I don't PDI. And then I realized, oh no, I am PDI. Right? So it's talking to your people each day. Because I heard talks about PDI and I thought I had to go like this whole big thing with a chart and there needed to be graphs and I needed to have like, I don't know, be logged into some computer system and I had to have, no, if you talk with your reps consistently, they sell consistently. Right? And guess what? You can text people sometimes too. This was a big thing a few years ago when they were like, you never ever text. Text doesn't count as a PDI call. Not initially. You get them in the right habits right away, right? But once I have someone, like when you guys are on the team, cool. If I can't have time to call them, I'll be like, hey, how's the day going? Going good, doing this, got this. All right, cool. Need anything? No, I'm good. Got tomorrow lined up? Yeah, cool. That's all we needed, right? But you'll learn that as a manager. There's people that you are going to have to physically talk to, right? And when you're brand new with people, talk to them all. I'm talking about like maybe a rep that once you get them to SC2 after they've been with you for 2 months, you know, maybe you could just do some texting and chill. New DMs after you've had someone for a little while. But when you're new, you want to talk to them because the more you're talking to them, the more demos you're getting booked, the more positive they're being. Every rep, every day, that's critical, okay? Especially when they're new. Demos, here's the thing. You want to average 1 demo per day per rep on your team. You have a 15-member team, you should have 15 demos booked that day. You're an assistant manager right now in someone's office. They give you 2 people to work with, 3 people to work with. That means you're responsible for getting 2 to 3 demos booked every day. Right? You're on the team with those people, right? So also too. So here's what. Well, crap. My one girl, she's out. She's not going to be able to do anything today. Cool. Maybe you need to go book up 2 demos, assistant manager, to make sure your team has that total. Right? And you manage that. You manage that. You manage that. And if we're focused on that, dang, you get a lot of sales. And the last one we're going to go to, 5 keys to developing a great rep. These are super simple. Newsletter. Never miss the newsletter. Consistency. Right? Kyle, how many weeks did you get on your consistency streak? Yeah, 14 weeks. Kyle in his first 14 weeks consistency club. Right? He hit his 20K promo during that time, 25K promo during that time. Right? Fell off consistency streak, and then we have a little bit of trouble. But that's okay. But you keep them on it. If you keep them on it, keep it rolling, you're good to go. Right? Win the prizes. It's fun. Consistency is what it's all about. Mission 100. Always have 100 contacts. 100 plus always, 100 plus always, 100 plus always. If some of you guys don't have 100 plus contacts right now, we need to change that immediately. You have a week to do it. Figure it out. If you need help, ask someone that has it. It's very simple. Jacob just got, how many did you get yesterday? 8. He got 80 from one lady, right? So if you don't have 100 right now, you should probably be talking to him after this event or on the break, right? 100 always. Because here's the power of it. I tell people when they're brand new, someone has, this is during their first names talk. I'm going to tell them, hey, if you don't have 100 names and numbers, that's okay. If you have 5 right now, perfect number. 10 right now, perfect number. 20 right now, perfect number. Here's my promise. By the time we get to the end of your first 2 weeks on this job, by the end of your fast start, you're going to have 100 names and numbers. 100 working names and numbers by the end of their fast start, always for everyone, no ifs, ands, or buts. And for our top people, we want to get that done before their day 4 PC. Can we do it their first weekend? For your top people, you can do it by their first weekend. No matter who it is, top people can get it there before their first weekend's done. Right? Not top person, not top 10 person, not top 20% person, right? Bottom 10% person. If you work with them, they can still get 100 names and numbers by the end of their first week. No big deal. Right? But here's the thing. Power of 100 names and numbers. If you have 100 names and numbers to call, you always have a job. Right? Remember the 3 rep pillars? Like, right? Phone and closing recommendations, like a 3-legged like chair or stool or something, table. Don't have one of the legs that falls over, right? So your 3 pillars, phone and closing recommendations. Recommendations are important because if you're great at closing the orders and great on the phone, but you can't get a recommendation, cool, you're going to be out of a job in about a week and a half. I tell my reps that in training. Let them know it's very important. It's very important, but it's also very easy. And then you show them how to very easily, succinctly get recommendations. We'll teach you that later. And then get them to 100. Because as long as they have 100 names and numbers, they always have a job. You have 100 names and numbers in this business, you always have a job. You can always make money. You can have a paycheck every week, and you can make it look whatever you want it to look like. Right? That's awesome, by the way. So if you're not there, talk to someone later on in the break or this evening. Then 5 before, 5 after, we talked about that already. That makes a great rep. Next best 5, that makes a great rep. And here's the big one that people kind of almost forget sometimes. Appreciation and recognition. All right? Does anyone know, there's 3 reasons a rep sells. They have to have all 3 of these things. Does anyone know what they are? Why a rep sells? A rep sells because they feel good, because they have a plan, and because they have people to call. This is for your people, and this is also for you. If there's ever been a time you're not selling, it's only one of those 3 things. You either don't have a good plan, you either you don't feel good, or you don't have people to call. That's it. That's the only reason anyone ever doesn't sell. After we've trained them properly, all that jazz, What were they?
They don't feel good, they don't have people to call.
Oh, that was awful. All right, so 3 reasons a rep sells: because they feel good, right? They have a plan, they have people to call. That's all they need, and they sell. They have that, and they're going to sell. And the feeling bad, feeling good, feeling bad, that's a fun one as a manager, right? Because yes, you have to appreciate them, you have to recognize them, they're going to keep working just fine, but I'll give you a tiny, tiny little crumb of advanced stuff. If like some of you guys want to work to maybe get like your first FSM or get a rep to 30 or 50K your first summer as a new manager, you have to do some emotional management too. They have to feel good. And here's the thing. They might not necessarily feel good, and it may have nothing to do with work. So sometimes you just get to be there and listen and say, okay, cool, all right, awesome, I understand, sounds crappy, that happens, what are we going to do now? All right. I like that. Help them a little bit. Help them be positive people. Help them have that whole vector positive crap that you guys were all telling me you were grateful for at the beginning of this meeting. Guess what? You guys get to be responsible for that for other people now. We're responsible for that for you, so that's why you guys feel this way. And we're good at it. It's your turn to learn how to be good at it for others. Right? And when you do that, it's really, really powerful. It's really, really fun. And you're going to make some really cool connections and friendships that you're going to get to have for a long, long time in your life too. Right? But recognition of feeling good. So we make sure they have demos, make sure they have names and numbers, make sure they have a plan. They're going to be off to the races. Anyway, that is that. I saw a couple hands, so I'm going to do the quick round of questions or clarifications, and then I guess we're on this break. I know. So let's go through this. He was first, actually. Give me one second.
What did you do?
Excuse me?
What are specific that you do to encourage new reps to come in?
Well, you make it. So it's just in their schedule. So the power of it is you have to schedule it in. right? So when you're making their schedule for them, you show them, hey, you have a team meeting, you have to be there at this time. This is the thing you have to remember. Your reps are brand new at this job. You're their manager, you're their leader. They're going to do whatever you tell them to do. So you tell them to be at the first team meeting, then it's your responsibility to have a good team meeting, right? And then promote. 5 reasons why it's going to be great. That's the key to promotion. 5 reasons for every event, why it's going to be great, what they're going to get from it. You promote it, they're going to show up. But getting them to your first one is important, and they're going to be there so long as you tell them they have to be there. Right? And then what I usually do, we'll look at the schedules. My advanced training 2 usually happens right before my team meeting. So they're already there to learn about how to call recommendations, and then we just move right into team meeting with the team. And then it's fun. Then they get to meet people, you know. He was first. Go ahead, Jeremy.
So what happens, I know in my training class, when I was training to make a dog, somebody just walked out. Jordan, Grandpa didn't do anything about it, just let him walk out and everything like that. What happens if somebody walks out while I'm running?
Oh, shucks. So there's a couple things here. The first thing I'm going to point with is that the first flaw with that is so there's positive seeking and negative seeking questions. A positive seeking question, and that almost might be a negative. Like, what if someone leaves when I'm training, right? As opposed to, hey, if someone leaves when I'm training, how do I handle the rest of the room to make sure that it's all going to stay positive? Yeah, cool. I don't know, just let them go, right? So, so here's the deal. I'll usually get rid of. I don't know if this is relevant, but I'll answer your question. I usually get rid of the ones that I know are going to be a problem in my pre, and so they don't even come into my group. I know, and you're like, well, how do I know which ones? I bet you, looking back, if you would have seen all of them before and be like, okay, if there was one person who was going to walk out, which one would it be? I bet you would have picked that kid that did.
Whether it's rare, like he said, most of it's handled in your pre. It's rare to have someone walk out. You're saying in the interview? It's
also, we don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Also, we don't know what it was. And so that's the thing. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, they may just remembered they had to go be somewhere. So, I'm like, so then usually you can say that they're fidgeting, and I'll just be like, hey, you go ahead, go. Move your chair. Awesome. And then just keep going. But it's like, but I'll address it so it's not like it's weird. Like, because usually you'll see them fidgeting, right? And they're about to, I'm like, hey,
they're looking at
go
their
real
phone
quick.
a lot. They do whatever.
But, I'd be like, hey, go real quick. We're fine. Right? That's easy. And then for training, they'll be like, hey, like you can see them, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, I know. Just I'm about to be at a break. We'll talk. We're good. And they'll be like, okay. And usually they'll have enough respect.
I have a big tip from training that took me about 6 years to learn. That was awesome once I did. It was set up in the beginning when I talked about in the beginning you talk about people that not everyone does well with Cutco or whatever, and I'm like only 2 reasons people fail. We talk about working hard and like not being lazy and working hard, but I always say the 2 reasons that people don't do well with Cutcos are just really lazy people, or they just don't follow the program. Excuse me, those 2 things. But when I hit them, like, so if someone's really late, I'm like, you might as well just go, like that. And it's funny because if someone leaves, like, oh, that's like lazy person or whatever. So I'm like, here's the deal. I'm like, I don't want to waste anybody's time. Like, this job, what you put into, you get out of it. So if someone is someone that goes, dude, I have this job, I make $8 an hour, I don't have to do anything. Like, I don't want them here, and they're not going to do very well here. And if that's you, honestly, I'd rather you leave during the break whenever you need to, so you don't waste your time. And I always mention that. So if anyone ever left, and I've never had someone leave, I think I've had one person like 5 years leave during day 1, but no one wants to be that person because they're like, oh, everyone's going to be like, oh, that's a lazy kid. And I'm like, if that's you, I'm like, seriously, I really recommend, and not bad, but I'm like, I recommend you leave. I'm like, this isn't the best place for you. And that's okay. It's not for everybody. It's a job what you put into, you get out of it. Second reason, people follow the program, whatever. So that's planted within the first 30 minutes. So I never got and I got them earlier in the years. I had people walk out like, oh, this wasn't what I expected, whatever. Where now it's like a very big review, and Lexi saw that. Everything from the interview, I review it like right in the beginning. So everything's like exactly what they heard, and then I mention that, and you will have it. And I'll teach you guys out when we go through training stuff.
Yep. You smile. You always fill them with kindness when you're doing stuff. Because there was an underlying tone of that that's like, I might take that personally, take that offensive, take that as a front. How do your job is to smile. You get really, really good at it. Okay? Like, like smile without kind of thing. Like there's a way you do it, and you're gonna learn that. As a
Any
manager.
other questions with this? What he just went over the power of 5.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, John.
We're talking about their first team meeting, maybe a good one. I've seen a lot of Russian team meetings this summer, and we always try to do at least 2 workshops. And it was always like phoning and rec. What other workshops?
We have on team meetings.
So everyone should have a little flash drive, and on your flash drive, it has team meetings and workshops, and there's like 100
Million.
pre-made workshops on the flash drive. Maybe no one ever gave Wasim the flash drive. I don't know.
No, the ones that I saw, like that.
We'll have a whole thing and like topics you can cover. It just depends on what your team needs.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do too. You, like Kathy said, you kind of key into what does my team need this week, because you're a good.
A lot of the specifics and how-tos you guys are going to be learning on a weekly basis with this, by the way. It's all in the curriculum.
They gave me
All right.
flash drives.
So we're going to do lunch. If you have any other questions, you go from there. Here's the deal. I need to start by 3:30, and then I'm going to play catch-up. So lunch was supposed to be 2:30 to 3. It's 3:01 right now. So grab food, whatever. Does anyone have a fork, by the way?
I do.
Hey guys, so listen,
Okay.
for food, what's going to be easiest? So right around here.